Yeah, it's pretty good, but so I just finished my first run of Resident Evil 9 Requiem, and I gotta say I did thoroughly enjoy it. It is a pretty damn good game. But I do want to talk about my own 2 cents throw in there. I'll just say this right now, I don't think it is the greatest game ever. It is a very good game, but it's not. It might be game of the year, but we're only in time recording March 1. I just came out pretty fresh after beating it. I think it's only been like 2 to 3 days, but yeah, I'll throw my 2 cents, and I'll just say this right now: I am by no way a hardcore Resident Evil gameplay fan. I take my time. I'm pretty casual about it. I do one playthrough and I'm usually done. I don't really speed run it, so I'm looking at this as a casual player. 5 minutes of non-spoilers and then another 5 minutes of spoilers. We'll start with the non-spoilers. I'll say this. I'll say something that really catched my eye, and that was the voice acting. The voice acting is honestly really amazing. I think Grace really throws it out of the park. She's really good. She puts her all into it. The voice, all of them do. There's never usually a Resident Evil game with bad voice acting, and I really think like every voice actor puts their all into this game. Story, I also think it's really good. This might just be me, but I think the beginning started really good, and then when you're going through it, it's like kind of stops a little bit, the hype factor, and then it picks up really high the more you keep going. A lot of really cool surprises and a lot of plot twists that will make you go, oh wow, I didn't there was a lot that I didn't see coming. But just for me, I think like there's a hospital which you're mostly going to play as Grace in the beginning of the game. I liked it the first time when I was running around, but the more I had to keep going, there was a lot of backtracking, and maybe that's just Resident Evil, the territory of it, but for me, it got really boring really fast. I think I was there for about 3 hours. Like I said, I'm just a casual player. I did not know what I was doing, going in blind and all. I take my time, and it just kind of dragged along. Once I got out of that map, it felt like a new game again. I forgot that Leon was even in the game, but yeah, after that is when the game really picks up, and I thoroughly did enjoy it. I hear a lot of people saying the story is short, and I'm not gonna lie, it is short. It took me about 14-15 hours to beat, and that's because I had a lot of interruptions in my stream, and I was taking my time, so I think I could beat it in even less. There's an achievement in the game for beating it in under 4 hours, so if that doesn't tell you how short it is, it's pretty short. Unless you're like taking your time, and like I said, I'm a casual player, so I took my time, and it's pretty short. But it definitely tells the story of what it wants to tell. It's a really good story. It doesn't, you know, blow my head up. Expectations, Leon shooting the Requiem to my head doesn't blow my mind just like that. The end kind of did, but then it mellowed out. But still, it's a really good story. I highly recommend it. I think for newcomers to the Resident Evil franchise, I don't know if you're going to really appreciate like all the things that happen. There's so many references to the lore and all that. So if you're a newcomer, you probably won't really understand any of it. This is definitely one of the games for the fans. So just a heads up if you are a newcomer to the Resident Evil franchise and this is your first game for whatever reason. But yeah, I enjoyed story. I enjoyed the characters, the gameplay. It's fine. Yeah, it's fine. There's nothing really to like say anything crazy. Grace is basically just a normal Resident Evil character you play. If you play any of the remakes, it's basically just like that. The game, I believe it makes it slightly harder for Grace with items and all that. I think she gets more healing items while Leon gets more weapons to even it out. But I think that was just me though, I'm not sure. But yeah, Grace is about surviving while Leon is the action. Leon felt like the mini game in the beginning. You didn't get to play as him as much, but then you play as him a lot later on, so I did enjoy that. But yeah, I think gameplay is perfectly fine. It's not gonna like, it's not as crazy as 4 or 2, at least in my opinion. But I did enjoy it. It's not bad. So yeah, that is my non-spoiler. I'd probably give it like 8.5 maybe out of 10. I still think Resident Evil 2 remake is my favorite. Then 4, and then this one, and then Resident Evil 3. That game, eh. But yeah, it's by no means a bad game. It's an amazing game. A little bit short, good characters. About Grace, I think she needs a little bit more screen time for me to really feel like, she belongs with the main characters. Just like Ethan, he was kind of whiny in Resident Evil 7, but then, in Village, he's like this badass one man unit. So I think Grace will get there eventually if they decide to keep using her. But yeah, I did enjoy mostly all of it. I don't really have much nitpicks. Would highly recommend playing it if you haven't. Just maybe play the old games 2, 4, and 6, I believe, if you want like the full context. But yeah, really good game. Would recommend it. So I'll talk about spoilers now. Major spoilers here, so you have been warned. Click off if you do not want to get spoiled or already have seen it. But I like the story aspect. I think one of my biggest nitpick about the story is Spencer. In the old games, they try to make him into like this god of figure that wants to be god, immortal, and all that. At least that's the vibe I got from him, especially in 5 when he's like shouting at Wesker. And then in this game, he's like this fallen hero that wants to do right again out of nowhere, and he's this tragic hero that wants to redeem himself and all that. He never really strikes me as that, especially if you ever played the what was it called again, the Resident Evil 3 multiplayer game. He's like an operator there, and he's like enjoying the shit out of torturing those people. So like, I don't know if this the same guy we're talking about, the guy that wants Requiem, redemption. I don't know. I found that weird about the story. That's like a major thing at the end, so major spoilers. But yeah, that was one of my nitpicks about it. I just felt a little bit forced to make it into this tragic hero. I get that he might feel bad about it, and then later in the end in the mansion, Resident Evil 5, you see him die, and he's like shouting at Wesker and all that. It did say he might have became senile, so maybe that's why. I don't know. Anything else? Anything else? I think Grace is a good main character. I think she can fit well, but like I said earlier, like she is very whiny sometimes, and I don't think her arc was too big. I think they needed all they needed to tell, but I'm not sure if I'm like really sold on her. Just like Ethan was in Resident Evil 7, maybe she does need another game for her to really find herself. I guess she really did, but like just like with Ethan, I think there's still a story to tell, a little bit more about her and all that. But if they don't, that's fine. If she's a one-off, I enjoyed her character enough. Like I said, she's not the greatest, but she is good enough. With Leon, I really enjoyed his character. They kept his spirit to heart. I loved his redemption story. It pretty much put closure on the character. Instead of this jaded hero that is pretty much tired of everything, he finds the reason to keep going again. Why he remembers why he kept doing all of this, and I think that was really a nice touch to his character. No more like, as much as I love jaded Leon, I do want to see the old Leon, the one that was excited to help people and all that in his first days in Resident Evil 2. So I think it was a nice touch, especially in the bad ending. There's a bad ending and a good ending. I don't really get the point why there's two endings. It kind of felt forced, but it's there, I guess. Leon is fine dying as long as he saves Grace, which shows that he remembers his old spirit, of always helping people. And I think that was a really nice touch, even if he did get his freaking brains blown out in that ending. But yeah, I enjoyed Leon, probably my favorite character again, who isn't at this point. Um, the villains I think were really good. There was so much references to Resident Evil 2, the whole franchise actually. It was really nice to see old characters coming back, like Mr. X. I know it's not technically Mr. X, but it basically looks like him. Come on, and his tyrant form with the heart sticking out, and then Hunk was so cool. I feel bad that they killed him, but it had to happen. Characters getting closure and all that. They pretty much did nothing with him for a while, so it's cool to see him come back, even if it was very short. Zeno is basically a reference. I get he might as well be Wesker at this point. And then he gets one out, which was kind of sad. I was expecting a little bit more, but maybe they can bring him back since there's cloning now in the Resident Evil universe. Maybe I don't remember that, but yeah, there's cloning now. I guess old characters can come back like that. But yeah, I thoroughly didn't. I think Gideon was a little bit meh. I don't know. He kind of looks like Christian, doesn't he? Anyway, but yeah, I didn't. He was an alright character. I think in the beginning he was really intimidating and all that, and then later on it's like I felt no fear seeing him. He was just kind of meh wannabe Joker guy kind of character. But he was fine. Final boss, he was the final boss. I think it was kind of weak, to be honest. You kind of just shoot. He basically just turns to a big, dumb, stupid guy, and you shoot like these blood orbs, and it was kind of weak, but it was fine, I guess. It was probably one of the weakest boss battles, maybe in the whole franchise. Maybe just because I was playing on modern standard, but yeah, I think he's fine. Nothing crazy, kind of forgettable. It was only in the beginning where he was like intimidating. But yeah, I think that's basically all I wanted to tell. Story was really great. It didn't blow my mind, but it had a story to tell, and I think that's good enough, isn't it? Maybe more people will, you know, see it better than I did, but I think it's a good story. It wraps up a lot of things and sets up more for a later game. But yeah, that's basically my 2 cents about it. And I'll see you guys later. Take care.